Good evening.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk, people. When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on our...
Good night, everyone. Wherever you're watching and listening from around the world of the Eastern Caribbean, welcome to a special edition of Make We Talk. We're going to talk about PICA. Staff members of PICA is calling on the PICA head to rule 32 public servants under investigation for lying to the National Integrity Commission. And my special guest has even been Luke George Cook. We're waiting Mr. Cook to join the conversation. You know, if it was some other places, you'd have to hear the names of the people, the 32 people. But of course, this is Jamaica. Now, when it comes on to PICA, they're calling for PICA head to roll. The man need to go. People can't work in those conditions that they are working in. He needs to step down. He needs to resign. And it's best that that man do the honorable thing and tender his resignation. And Mr. Wayne Lonesome program, Wayne was the one who highlighted what is going on at PICA. And see then our story come to bump. Because the powers may be thinking that we were lying of what is going on at PICA. But we're not lying about it. And somehow the truth must come out. And the truth have to come out. We need to know who are those 32 persons in the public service who is enriching themselves with public money. People may think that I talk about it today, I should come back and talk about it. Yes, it will not be a 9-day wonder. It cannot be a 9-day wonder. Cannot. And sweep under the carpet. We must hold them accountable. They are public servants and they have their hand in the public kitty. They must be held accountable. And we need to know their names. But they pass some laws in the parliament. But they can't give out the names. Those are the things that we sit down in this country and accept. But you know what? Story now come to bump. I get to understand that PICA give out some fraudulent work permit to some Cuban nationals. And in case you want to know what PICA stands for, it stands for Passport Immigration Citizens. It stands for Passport Immigration Citizen Agency. That's what PICA stands for. And those two individuals at PICA, the CEO and the deputy director, running PICA as if they're running their own business. I get to understand that even security guards are answering phone and calling people to come and pick up their passport. I think as your passport, but it is a national symbol. Your passport is a private document given to you by the Jamaican government. And they can take away that passport from you at any time they feel like. You must read the back of the passport. Wish I had mine when you're with me now. But you must read the back of the passport. And those are the people we have in charge of PICA. Where's some hanky-panky going on? Don't worry about the Speaker of the House. I shouldn't come to she. You will and Chris. One thing at a time. Dalrampin Filiberta, whatever her name is. I soon come to she. But PICA head, staff members of PICA is calling for him to resign. And when Mr. Lonesome and his program was calling for the man to go, he should have done the honorable thing and go. Because he even went to Dubai. Them use taxpayers' money and travel all over the globe. And no accountability. No accountability to PICA. I'm gathering some more information on the Statius Golding High School, where a teacher at the Statius Golding High School, and the school was named after a former Prime Minister's family, Bruce Golding family. A teacher was sexually assaulted by another teacher. It is before the court. And the teacher who sexually assaulted the female teacher, he's still working there. He's still on duty. In some other jurisdiction, he'll be sent on leave pending the court hearing. You see? I get to understand that the female teacher can't even come back to school. Because if when the female teacher go back to school, the same teacher is there. The teacher is there. And the principal of the Statius Golden High School, I shouldn't be getting into this, because I come here to talk about PICA and the 32 public servant who had a hand up taxpayers kitty. But let me give you something about the Statius Golden High School that I am investigating and I'm going to come with it. The principal of the school is covering up something because she ought to resign. She ought for retirement. But I mean, she ought to retire. So she wants to retire in good grace. You see? She ought to retire in good grace. But let me tell that principal and that VP that if we not continue shield that teacher who sexually assault the other female teacher, I will expose more of what I have about you all covering up what is going on in that school. The Statius Golden High School, some student was sexually assaulted too. Madam Principal, you want me to go down more? Anyway, let's not get into that tonight. I didn't come here to talk about that. Waiting on my guests them to come on to speak some more about the 32 public servant who their name can't come out in the public. I keep on telling you, it's not only politicians have their hand in the public, you have some people in the education ministry, the finance ministry, in the office of the prime minister. You know want me talk more? They had their hand in the public kitty. And if I said it today, and I'm going to say it again. I said it today, and I'm going to say it again. If we in this country do not stop this PNP and JLP shibangarang, Jamaica will not be better off. We cannot say because we are JLP, we must leave JLP alone. Or because we are PNP, we must leave PNP alone. Our nation is in crisis. And as I said earlier on, if it was any other modern democracy, the name of the 2 public servant, the 32 public servant rather, and the 6 lawmakers, the 6 politicians, their name was not Jamaica Cleaner. But no, because they're up in society, their name can't get in the cleaner. But if it was a Jeffrey Tavares, a Luke George, a Wilfred Rattigan, a Herb Nelson Jr., a Douglas Allen, when you win the paper, you believe it was a great United States. The name would be in the paper. But no, this is Jamaica, the land of corruption. Good night to you, Mr. Cook. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good.
Welcome to the program, sir.
Good to be here with you.
We can hardly see your face, Sir George.
Boy, I didn't sign up for the contest of the beauty contest, Yeah, Jeffrey.
The whole of it, we're ugly. Yes, me and you ugly alike. You talk.
Yeah, you're born handsome, Jeffrey.
Listen to me
Yes.
now, Luke. You hear what is going on, Luke, at PICA? You hear this going on with the 32 public servants, the name can't come out of who? What
Them
kind of
name
country
can do.
living in, Luke?
Um, why, Jeffrey, I don't know if me get excited, maybe because me there, I understand it better than you. And maybe your listening audience, because of the wide range of listeners that you have, that these situations are not surprising to us. Sad to say though, I must give it credit to Mr. Winter. I have always found him to be a very approachable gentleman who assists customers where it is possible. You have a lady in the customer service director, Miss, I think it's Vassler, her name is. Boy, that's not a pretty woman. Not physically, but her behavior is unbecoming. But
Mm.
her
Like
behavior,
she own the passport office.
you would almost think that Mr. Winter is employed to her, the way how she talks and how she carry herself, and the way how
Then Luke,
the way how
Luke,
she talks.
hold on then, Luke. If Mr. Winter know that this woman is carrying herself in a different manner, and you are the CEO, what should you do? Not fire her behind?
Boy, the public sector is hard, and there are some. I mean, I don't want to give into what is being said regarding that situation because I have no empirical proof of what people are saying. But one oftentimes wonder why Mr. Winter allow himself to have somebody like that in his operation because she seemed to be more harmful than good. There was a excellent um public servant there by the name of Anne Marie Waugh. When me tell you that this is the consummate professional and people are getting through to when you talk to her, she action what you ask of her. Unlike Garfield Williams, who is to me, PICA is being run just as how Jamaica is being run. People get big job, big title, big pay, but don't produce, and the customers are treated poorly. It happened at the police record office, so we can list them. It happened at all the major hospitals. It happened at the police stations. It
And
happens at the registrar general.
and
It,
it happened at, at the
Bluetooth
parliament
method.
too because Warmington can call Jamaican people chink and fly and dog, whatever.
no, but that's what I'm saying. The reflection in behavior that you're seeing in these public sector organizations is reflective
Luke,
of the contempt that the government of Jamaica have for the, yeah. Jeffrey, Jeffrey, yeah, Jeffrey.
No, continue talking. Continue talking. Yeah, continue talking.
Okay,
Signal is.
all right. So I think we have lost Jeffrey, but basically what I was saying to the audience, I think that um Jamaicans are more and more dissatisfied with the service, but service is not something that we're big on in Jamaica because when you look at the PICA line now, it's just crazy. And recently, PICA would have changed their passport. We are now a chip passport, and I don't even know if a lot of Jamaicans are aware of what a chip passport is, and why we're going that direction. And I know that there were some afterwards you sort of hear some public education on it, but I'm not the least bit surprised that people are so dissatisfied with with the a government statutory body like PICA. I think we're also frustrated with customs, and that we are frustrated also with other service industries that the government of Jamaica have persons there who seem that they're not interested in driving the products that they offer and ensuring that customers are satisfied in a timely and effective manner, Jeffrey Tavares. So it's not just 30 statutory bodies that we're talking about. Jeffrey, look at the larger picture.
Yeah.
You don't want to be sick in Jamaica and go to a hospital, because we still can't come up with a way of making hospital functional. And people might think that I'm boring them when I say these things, but think about it. If you are a citizen of a country and you get ill, and if you don't have money to go to 28 or money to go to Andrews Memorial, if you're in Kingston, in Montego Bay, there is an American facility that was just open and it's quite expensive.
What's the name
You
of the
don't,
facility?
I'm trying to remember it, but it's on the hip strip going to the airport.
Oh,
Uh,
for the people of the Vumba in Montego Bay.
yeah, exactly, because the ordinary Joe would not be able to afford that. But let let us just use that, as I said, as the starting point. The education system in Jamaica is broken, and we are not seeing any fix to it. The security system in Jamaica is broken. We're not seeing any fix to it. The financial services in Jamaica is broken. No fix to it. The environmental issues are being ignored. No fix to it. We as Jamaicans are asked to pay a tremendous amount in electricity. And when we are depending on foreign oil and gas, the cost to the consumer eats away at your ability to be able to run your household effectively. So public sector worker like Mr. Winter is not just Mr. Winter. I wish it would have gone further to say that the entire Andrew, the entire wholeness golden administration party should go as well. And that we would
But
really get
you
a
know something, Luke? I see a gentleman on the chat room here said that I wait 5 hours after. I wait 5 hours to pick up my passport
no,
after waiting more than 2 weeks.
no, Jeffrey, hold on. When this look, you remember that the passport now is a chip passport. Do you know what a chip passport is?
Yeah, they have is a readable chip too that nobody don't
Exactly. When they were changing over the system, the Jamaican people, and I'm sure you in the diaspora did not get the proper notification.
I did
I can,
not.
you can call, if you call God Williams now and try to say, boy, he tells you information is easily had. Have you ever tried to call the passport office and to talk to the people there? And how some of them talk to you, it is untenable. They talk to you like you're you live at the back of them yard and you are actually upsetting their day to call. And they themselves are disconnected from the information. But Mr. Williams told me, and I can say this unapologetically, the past PICA information is now easy to access that, and that is not true. The public of Jamaica was not even fully aware of the chip system. And if you go to PICA on Constant Spring Road, Jeffrey Tavares, there are two tents. In addition to the original tent that was there are now two tents, and its capacity.
Isn't that a disgrace, Luke George? In 21st century Jamaica, the Jamaican people have to go in on a tent to get their passport.
But you go there and you're utterly frustrated. But you talk about that. If you go there, the business district, which is across from it, which is the Mall Plaza, where you are more likely to have to go and park, are now employing security guards to tell you that if you don't have any business to conduct, you know what I do when I have to go there if I have to interact with PICA? I go there, go to Woolworth, then I go across the road. So you don't even have parking facility
Mm.
for people who are doing the interaction. But Jeffrey, remember, if you want a 7-day passport now, up to recently they were not offering the next day because as the system is changing over, they're having a number of challenge at PICA. And I would have thought that a forward thinking organization like PICA would have sought a remedy the cost and effect of doing that. But it's I am delighted to see that when America cough, we get cold. And somebody had the tenacity. And I would say fire the entire management block if you had to allow a lower level worker to take Mr. Williams to task, Mr. Wynn to task, over this customer service woman that he knows that she is a problem. He knows.
Is his
And so
girlfriend, you know?
I have no proof of that, but I will tell you what was said one day when I was there. I overheard, and I don't subscribe to it, but
Bluetooth
it
connected.
it has left me to wonder if there was anything that, because when I asked for the same person, Anne Marie War, um, the a member of his staff turned and said, "Him woman make sure run Anne Marie," and and that was about it. I didn't probe, but when you ask other people, it was that people were tight-lipped. But I don't know anything about the gentleman that way. But if that level of impropriety can impact your function, nobody should have asked you to resign. And I have not had a bad experience with him in three incidents that I've.
But you know something, Luke? PICA fall under the Ministry of National Security. All right? And same way Harris Chan is making the crime run out of control in this country. This PICA issue was brought to the public on several occasions. And the sleeping Minister of National Security and Injustice does nothing about it. The sleeping Minister of National Insecurity, Dr. Harris Chan, does nothing about the crime situation in our country, does nothing about PICA. There's an audio clip and I want you to listen. I hope you can hear it.
According to the whistleblower, all is not well at PICA. In the email to us, PICA's Director of Customer Service is accused of being vindictive and offensive. The director, a woman, is accused of regularly being absent from meetings and of being consistently unavailable to assist workers. The email says those who speak out about the director's behavior are either transferred or demoted. Her behavior has reportedly left staff feeling threatened, depressed, and demotivated. This, the whistleblower says, has affected the manner in which the staff serve PICA's customers. Some staff members, fed up with the toxic environment at the workplace, have reportedly resigned. A job fair was reportedly hosted by the agency to fill the vacancies created by the resignations of all members of a call center team. It's understood that the recruits quickly grew frustrated, with some complaining of exploitation. Others complained that their contracts were forcibly amended and that they were forced to assume duties they had never signed up for. The whistleblower also claimed that several staff members were making multiple errors on the job due to being overworked. Among the damaging claims made by the whistleblower is that over 100 citizenship certificates were awarded to Cuban nationals through fraudulent means. Workers have also reportedly complained about constant rotation across the agency with little to no time to adjust to new roles. Security is also an issue, according to the whistleblower. It's alleged that several staff members have had their mobile phones stolen on the job, with some of the thieves reportedly posing as customers. It's also alleged that security guards have been repurposed as customer service agents, calling numbers and assisting customers otherwise. The whistleblower says some employees have been working in unsafe conditions, including those at the Portland office. At that office, it was claimed that staff had to be working in a space infested by rats. Nationwide News emailed a letter to the PICA CEO, Andrew Winter, on April 26 this year, asking for a meeting to discuss the damning claims. In the letter, we told him we were giving him the opportunity to respond, point by point, to the claims. We also sent the same letter by hand on April 27 through our bearer. We received several phone calls from an intermediary at the National Security Ministry telling us Mr. Winter was busy and would respond to the claim. Mr. Winter eventually called us, declaring that he was more than willing to discuss what he insisted were baseless accusations. We asked for him to set up a meeting to address the claims one by one. He agreed. In fact, he suggested that we meet at 1:30 p.m. on June 13, where he would offer a comprehensive response to the claims. We sent him an email on June 12 at 3:47 p.m. asking for the venue to be confirmed. We have not heard from him since. Mahiri Stewart for Nationwide News.
Now tell me something now. Luke, you heard this clipping?
Yes, I did.
And how much Cuban nationals they say get papers on a fraudulent?
Jeffrey,
Nearly 100?
Jeffrey, let me tell you something. Again, me tell you that there is no surprise to how some people make their wealth in this country. And notwithstanding, PICA, like so many of our other agencies, have people inside there who are moles who are making far more money than their salary pays. It is not surprising. What is surprising to me was that remember remember this, Jeffrey. When the JLP assumed administration, we heard of this gentleman. Nobody knew Mr. Winter outside of the people who knew him privately outside of PICA. When we heard that there were people inside there who were poised to take reign of the entity after the departure of, I think, Miss McDonald.
Mhm.
And so he was brought in and possibly foist on the people as the JLP man to do the job. And when you have this level of interference from the politicians and political directorate, you have to ask yourself, is the person the right person for the job? I can't recall if in the public sector there was an announcement for an opening at PICA. So really and truly, days into the job, I don't know what skill set Mr. Winter has, but certainly a lot of what have been said in that media clipping confirm what many persons outside who were able to think this thing through and said, no, this government agency is not being run effectively. And it took the frustration of seemingly several persons, because when you listen to the report, it speaks to people speaking in Portland. And again, it speaks to the fact that leadership is not responsive to the people who they serve. And you can see a clear pattern that is consistent, not just at PICA, but it's also consistent in how administrations of government function and how it relates and responds to the need of the people. And I've said it to you, Jeffrey, we could spend 2 shows on this and go through agents after agent, and we would be able to identify a pattern of dysfunctionality in the leadership. Many women report being sexually assaulted, especially in the recruitment of the police force. And Jeffrey, when A woman recently tell me she was sharing an experience with me, and she said um she's sorry she wasn't born a man, and I said this very bright and intelligent woman. I looked at her and I said, why would you say something like that? And she said to me, Luke, I'm so tired of having to, sometime turn away or look away or grant a sort of favor to get ahead because it is pressuring. And the truth of the matter is that there is validity in what she's saying. You know what another woman tell me?
Mhm.
She said, I use the powers that God give me because I know that if going to school and studying on my own merit and thinking that I was going to get ahead into my career, that would have helped me. But she said, I've reached a stage now where I can stop. I have stopped. And this was a senior member of government. I have stopped. Nobody can come to me, come tell me about them want to carry me out on date night and them want me to be them side chick. I've done that. I have got the training. I've gotten my qualification. I have worked hard, and now I'm going to enjoy it. So, as I said to you, the country has not cultivated a system by which we can test to see that the output from these agencies are meeting the demands of their customer. Now,
But take a point there, Luke. Remember, I'm going to say what I am driving at and what I don't understand, what I can't fathom. The Minister of National Security,
look,
Dr.
Jeffrey,
Harrison, it's under his portfolio.
Jeffrey, Dr. Harris Chang in many Jamaican mind is is Luke, be careful how you say this. Dr. Harris Chang is not the most credible person in Jamaica. The story that is told of Dr. Harris Chang, you wonder how somebody can hold such a high prominent office and yet still the image of Dr. Harris Chang outside of outside of his ministerial position is something that if it is true and can be proven, it would not it would not sit well for us as a country. Look at this. Dr. Armstrong is the presumed deputy prime minister. Is that in the constitution?
No, it is illegal.
So if it is illegal, then how can you be the minister of national security, but you're acting in an illegal position? It is not enshrined in the constitution. Wouldn't that tell you the state of that person's mind? You're collecting a deputy prime minister's salary, but it is not enshrined in the constitution, nor have we given any rise in this new, I don't know if we have been discussing it in this new constitutional reform that
I don't
Jamaica
think
should.
they have because the person who is leading the Constitutional Reform Committee, you know what, the show Jeffrey Shuttlemoor, continue, George.
No, but
No,
if you're gonna shut your mouth, might as well we do have a conversation.
no,
You
but
see, part of,
the
I am
person,
glad that the whistleblowers have now said to us we no longer should sit in our corner. I'll tell you what has happened to me in the public service. Why I know that it's corrupt. I remember working for a particular company where that manager was sleeping with everybody in that company that was female. They were pressured if they wanted to keep their job. And I had a problem, and I was the only vocal person. You know what happened? Although I thought that I had the colleague of my support in saying that man, but he has gone on now to be head of that organization, right? And I remember one time he says, um, "Oh, you can't get me out of my position, Miss Set, because man run things at Jamaica, and maybe you need to learn a lesson from me." It is not uncommon for people to hold position that they are not functioning in Jamaica. And this is when you know that there is no accountability but a lot of talk. So again, I ask you, what would you have expected, Horace Chan? Is Mr. Wint a member or a supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party? And what would you have expected from Dr. Horace Chang in that regard, Jeffrey Tavares? He's going to support his body. He's going to support
So
his
you're
body.
saying to me right now
Jamaica is about friends and cronies.
that the Minister of National Security rather let the passport office
go into an abyss because this man could very well be his best friend.
and that is why he hasn't said anything about what is going on at the passport office. And it is a disgrace. It is a disgrace in 21st century Jamaica that the Jamaican people have to be sitting under the tent to get their passport.
But hold on.
And they talk to the love poor people in this country.
Hold on.
The two administrations is the same thing.
Hold on. Is that disgrace? Go to the police record office or at Duke Street. Right across on the same side of the road, there's the Registrar General Department. Whether sun, rain, tsunami, hurricane, people stand up out there saying a sun. They don't even have the privilege of a tent. When you go to pick up your police record at Hope Road, there's a tent put outside at the police officers club, because that's now where you pick up your passport. Look at it. Government have so much building. Right on Duke Street, just above the Parliament, you have the Jamintel building. No,
hold on here. The Jamintel building is owned by the Transport Authority, and they are you know what they have in that building? Doves. They're importing doves from Jamaica, the birds. So what they do right now? They buy the building and put it down there, and all they do, they feed the birds, and they take a boat and export them. So we're exporting birds from the Jamintel building.
But that's what I'm telling you, Jeffrey. Jeffrey Tavares, you have more passion to save Jamaica than the Jamaicans living in Jamaica, because you have to tell me, say, you can't have a building where you can have everybody on one building, and therefore cut out the amount of money that we have to pay for rental space. If we are having a major issue like funding education effectively, funding health effectively, funding crime effectively. So what do Jamaicans expect to get from a Dr. Horace Chang and from the Ministry of National Security if they can't run these organizations that falls under their purview? Because remember, I just tell you, say RGD, part of it national security, part of it national Ministry of Health. Me tell you about police record, national security. If you, Jeffrey Tavares, today apply for a criminal an expungement, and today I was telling you, today was one of those days when my heart was broken, because I had to go to the Ministry of Justice, and I was sitting out in the foyer area, and I heard a lady. I was writing up a document to submit to the Ministry of Justice, and I heard a lady on the phone. But what sparked my attention was when she started to say to the woman, the Jamaican people have to go on bad and come cuss and lift up them clothes for them to get service. And then following that, I could hear her sniffing, and so I see her wiping her nose and tears coming down, and I said to myself, say, Jaja, in a 2023. So then she engaged, because she realized now my head was up. Then she engaged me in a conversation. 29 years ago, she had an altercation with another woman. She pushed the woman to the ground, and the woman fell, and as we say in Jamaica, get her busted, and she was charged for wounding OB arm. 29 years later, she's asking for the records to be expunged because she wants to join her husband in the United States. She got married to an American national and wants to join. And she's been told that the committee for hearing the application for expungement will they're not certain of the date that that committee will convene, because there are no fixed date, and there are times when it is challenging to the committee members to confirm a particular date. And she's saying to the lady, but is there no consideration in my case because I go before the embassy to have this document submit by Thursday of next week, and I don't want it to hold me back because I would like to go and join my husband with my kids.
Mm.
And in her anguish, the lady is saying to her, Ma'am, you're not the only this is the employee responding. Ma'am, you're not the only person going to the
You
embassy.
know,
You're not the only person with that situation.
it's not a
And
laughing
so
matter, you know, but
and so and so what is your what is your issue? You're told that you have to apply for your expungement. You have a year, but sometimes it don't work like that.
you know
Then
something,
no,
no?
but me conclude this, Jeffrey. There was another young man in there who came in afterwards that I knew, and I said, "What you doing here?" And him say, "Him come to expunge him record because him get filed for by his family." And Jeffrey, you know you know what? I was talking to somebody at the counter, and the gentleman said to him that yes, you put in your application from the 15th of November 2022, but as must realize the person who used to send up the records from down Duke Street is now ill. We here have been requesting for the records to be sent up, and your records have not come up.
Hold on there.
Hence,
Hold on. Repeat what I said a while ago.
I will
The
go as far as
person,
the person said, and I heard this personally. The person at Duke Street, who is called Miss Perkins Parkins, is now ill. We sent your application came in on the 15th of November last year. And on the 16th, I can show you on the paper because I said to him, I will write to the minister on your behalf and this lady's behalf to explain to him that there's a fair sense
It's
of
9 o'clock.
urgency. There's a fair sense of urgency. And I'm hoping that they will do something. He said that the lady is no longer functioning at her desk. And I have spoken to that lady before, and I can tell you the frustration down at Duke Street office to have people's file be put together and the report compiled and sent up to the
so you're
office.
saying to me, the Minister of Justice, Injustice, Delroy Truck, told the nation that everything is computerized now.
Your fallacy. And
So Delroy
fal-
Truck is a liar to him, lie to the people of Jamaica.
fallacy and with no apology to Mr. Chuck. Mr. Chuck, we must stop misleading people. Let's go a little further. There are some offenses them say that are not expungible, and you know I take pains with that because the truth of the matter, Jeffrey Tavares, if you, Jeffrey Tavares, at the age of 16, when you were still sort of navigating your way through life, for instance, got in out of some circumstances, I mean, yet say poor, but say some circumstances, you got involved with the wrong crowd and you carry some drugs, not even hard drugs, they export ganja. Cause
Mm.
somebody said, Tavares, come now, I send you go so, and you go carry up something for me. And then fast forward to 20 years later, even 5 years later, you go, you serve your time, you have made restitution to the society. And I don't even know why I want to say it. You have made restitution to the society. Because the truth of the matter, you committed a crime and you have come to terms that you recognize that it is a crime. And then you write to the ministry after paying them $3,000 and go through a process of applying for expungement only to be told that some offense are not expungible.
As a
And
matter, hold on there for me
and
though. We need to have a program on this because I need to know what is not and what is. I know we are
certainly,
here talking about PICA, but we're digging into something in say here because Delroy Chuck, Minister of Injustice, Delroy Chuck lied to the people of Jamaica and continue lying to the people of this country. He doesn't want to be called the minister. Now I want to apologize for that.
right? But just think about it. Then you hear this now, and the young man who was there said to me, "But this operation, yeah, is further criminalizing us because if you don't want to take this off of my record and I turn up to get a job and I have a negative criminal record, what do you expect me to do if it is going to prevent me from moving ahead? If I have an opportunity and that opportunity keeps being taken away from me because I have a criminal record, and you now have labeled it as government of Jamaica. I pay my time to I go to prison, I pay my fine. So it's either the prison time or the fine. Why should an expungement committee deny unless you have in the case of murder? But even then, I think that you leave that now to a committee of persons to include representative from the environment from which an individual come, because murder could happen not necessarily willingly but involuntary, that somebody attack you and you and them a fight and something happen, as against people who are paid to kill people. And even those people too, you have to look at it in terms of restorative justice. How do you apply fairness in helping them in the reform, in reforming their lives? So again, Jeffrey, we have these agency, but are they serving us, or are they still a part of the chokehold that chokes the life out of the Jamaican people? And we have a question long and hard, because when you hear my minister Horace Chang speaks, man, you have to say big up minister. The way he speaks about justice is with such passion, and he shows that he understands the the, the 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 experience of the man from uptown and the man that come from arms house. He understand it, and that he's there to serve those people. And even the technical officer in the ministry, which is the technical officer, and guided by the permanent secretary. This is things that you need to go out and have a discussion about in terms of how effective the ministry is serving people who, for wanting of a better word, would have had some running with the law. God forbid if anything should happen to me. I would want to think that they would want to keep that permanent record against my name. But I don't think that Horace Chang and those people care, Jeffrey. The honest truth, I don't think they care. But you know what is upsetting to me? I don't think the Jamaican people have demonstrated the level of courage that this whistleblower have demonstrated in holding the powers that be accountable. And made a love to see some more whistleblowers, because
Yes.
maybe we can get this sort of change. We can unclog the lines and get the sort of change on the people that we want in there. I want a whistleblower on every corner, Jeffrey, and for clean up corruption. A long time people sit down and I take it from them people. At
And
time we
and and
stand up
and
for right.
Right, and when it come on to PICA,
Horace
this
line
thing,
tongue chat.
la- this has been going on for a long time with PICA. The first person I heard with this thing on social media, was Wayne Lonesome, And I said, and I listened to Wayne. With a lady calling Wayne and telling Wayne and giving Wayne information. And Wayne put it out in the public. Until this blessed day, nothing has been done.
No, but you want me tell you something? There's a man in Switzerland who came to Jamaica. He migrated and I've been living in Switzerland for the better part of 15 years. So when he left here, his daughter was only 2. Him come back now and she's about 19. And if my maths is right, and he goes to PICA with her and he makes an application for the passport. Seemingly because the visit was short, from what the daughter told me and subsequently the father. And I have the letter to prove. He takes the receipt for the passport that he paid for
Mm.
because his desire is to have the young lady join him in Switzerland to come and meet her new sibling, his wife, and so forth. It not seem that I'm excited. She's all big woman now, and so I'm excited that him get this opportunity to travel. And he writes to say that he lost the receipt, but he's asking them to turn over the passport to his designate, which was one of the designate was her mother, the other one being her godfather. To this date, that situation is unresolved. How many months this have been going on? 6 months. Several call into PICA. Several appeal to them to turn out his daughter passport so that he can get on with the thing of having her come to visit him. And to date, no, it is a situation. The guy, Mr. Williams, me used to talk to because I knew Mr. Williams when he was a police, when he was in the JCF, was a nicer person. Since he has gone to PICA, he has developed a very nasty thing of distancing. And him knows that me will call him and he might tell me say there conference. The last time I called him, he was in Dubai. Him and Mr. Winter was in Dubai. The sophistication of these jobs should have even
And,
made them
and, and
think
not only that, they're in Dubai. Are they in Dubai on personal issue? Or are they in Dubai on public issue? Who the money spend?
It's the public, but then again, you don't get value for money. But the young lady that I really could have depended on to really help this father and daughter to reckon to really get the solution and put an end to this standoff between the PICA office is Anne Marie Waugh. But nobody seems to know where she has disappeared to. And when you go there, I even have a number for her. And if you call it, you can't get through to her, and this is just sad because when she was there and you wrote to her, Jeffrey, she responded. Anne Marie Wall, wherever you are, you were a fantastic public servant. I hope that they really put in your name for the new CEO for PICA. I think you would do an excellent job. And why I say that, Jeffrey, there is there's a way that you can gauge when people listen to you and they understand. For instance, if you write Miss Wall letter, be sure that the first thing you're going to see in the morning, I'm in receive of the letter. I'm looking at the contents to see how I respond. Please allow me a day or two. If I don't, please call.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, versus when you write to Mrs. Vassell and she said, I remember once I had to send her a message and I said, look here, don't send me no such stupid email and send the fool a little further. Respond to me like you really value the people of Jamaica who are giving you a good life. Because many of you are born low, grow cheap, and must have bad habit. Because what you're sending me you're not even sure that you understand what I'm asking you about. And then I moved on to Mr. Mr. Gentleman, who again may I say unfortunate if you allow yourself to be drawn into certain things, boss, and you don't focus on the job that we hire you for. Deal with your thing a back road, man, but don't carry it to the office if there's any truth to it. Because these are allegations. But what
But
I'm
hold on,
saying,
you know, these are allegations, but people within PICA is talking out.
yeah, well,
So
it
I
never
know the
come out in a
allegations, something in a something in a something.
it never come out in the report. So me I deal with the report. A long time them I try to get Mr. Win to respond. He got the opportunity to respond to the challenges that were facing the people under his management.
And he
He
did
did
not.
not he did not respond. I also think that the fact that it is a whistleblower, again, me I said this, somebody else who probably in the lower line circle who had to bring this matter to the attention of the Jamaican public means that the managers who are currently there and directors are in collusion with Mr. William. It should have been at the management level that they went and said, look, we have no confidence in Mr. Wynn's ability, and you are equally complicit in this crime because it was a crime against the people that you were supposed to serve.
And that is why they're calling from this for the CEO to go.
It's not just the CEO. I'm telling you, it's managers on the block. Me love Carol Hammond in the security section than for Keith she. Because she really do a good job in the citizen section. But her section, in this report come under a big scrutiny, because you're talking about 100 Cubans were given illegal certification for Jamaican citizenship. How did that happen? And now me want to see who are gonna lead the investigation. Jeffrey, you see what I mean? Them a thief, a thief I give thief long bag for carry. You come after small man in a Jamaica for go pick Aki, but when I report that is damning. And if nationwide had this report and actually wrote to Mr. Wynn asking him to come on to justify it, and he skirt around it, Mr. Wynn, shame on you. What is it that you had to hide? Because those are damning allegations. Is it that we're selling citizenship now, left, right, and center? And I wonder what is the value of it.
That
Because
means, that means that the allegations before all of this is true then. Why the good gentleman is hiding from the media?
no, but you can't. Me would disagree with you, Jeffrey. Because if me I run a tight ship, and me know say me have the organization interest best at all, and a big station like Cliff Hughes, Mr. Nationwide himself can basically write to you to ask you to answer to damning reports that came out as a result of somebody in your organization who is saying, um you there are several and not, look, the allegations are not small allegations, and then you have to ask yourself, Jeffrey, if you're not sister them people are really set up an organization for continue for bleed the nation by gaining from ill-gotten gain. So you see when them tell us that corruption are the biggest industry in Jamaica where pay people, because me would want on my watch say 100 Cuban and it's just the Cuban. There was another allegation of people coming from Jerusalem, from
From
Israel.
Israel.
Israel who are buying citizenship in this country, and people never pay much attention to it because you know what? When some people talk, because we not speak the standard Queen English and we not have no ambition string, we not graduate with no ambition string, nobody not listen. But the truth of the matter, now you see the reality why you can't get Usain Bolt money, because if Cliff Hughes have this information and the whistleblower seems to have been disseminating the information across the ministry with the intent to get some meaningful action,
Yes.
then you have to ask yourself, how far up even in the ministry people
Of national security.
might be implicated in this.
Yes. Is it that the minister, Jeffrey, shut your mouth, Jeffrey?
I hear when you say shut your mouth, is it that
Is it that the minister
yeah,
himself?
we need to ask, is it that the
Is it
minister
that the
himself
minister
is
himself knows
benefiting
about
from
this?
this Ponzi scheme? It's a question. I can't say that I don't know. It is alleged. But if that report came to you, Jeffrey Tavares, on your watch, that is something that you would put a red flag on, because it means that you have breached one aspect of your own security function.
Yes. And you hear nothing
Like
from the
so many
Prime
other
Minister's mouth.
things. Hold on. Basically, when we got the Prime Minister, there is an there is an what you would call integrity and accountable, not in integrity and accountable deficit against leadership right across the board of Jamaica, not just the Prime Minister. You and I have come on these programs and we have looked as people who are rational thinkers that there is a lot to be desired by the Prime Minister's action. We can name incidents and say, under my watch, that could have gone. For instance, how dare a man work outside of my office go call another Jamaican chink and cockroach and tell the man say him can come and feel my tour and still remain in my office, because it means that you have disrespected the same people, even if they are of a different political persuasion, and therefore that is a core function of your job. So you can't function because you can't deal with people when no support your Green Party, the Jamaica Labour Party. And there are many other instances that we can use this forum. And I really would like for us to say, how do we then help this whistleblower to go a little further,
Yes.
to give us more information
Information.
that we can hold? And it is, if Will Rattigan could even provide, if the funds was established, money, if these people have to go to court, and possibly that we give them the support during the time that they may be asked to take a leave of absence, and to look at their own safety. Because the other thing that troubles me is that anybody who goes against the state tends to suffer.
Disappear.
Tends to suffer because there's this high incident of reprisal killing. And
You're talking to Slobloff. Then dead, then kill them.
exactly. So and this is for one of the reasons why I hate this song, Informer for Dead, because you have to have people with that courage and tenacity to say what is happening, so people get a feel of what is happening. Because when you talk to the PICA management, them go on like say they are the paragon of virtue. Them not do nothing underneath the table, and somebody within your organization. And as you uncover this, Jeffrey Tavares, me can tell you, there's a lot still that remain, because I know a JP where did sign a farm for a man, forgot take out him passport, and when him go there, one immigration officer noted that him did see him there, and when the immigration checked the application, found out that this was the third passport that man had applied for. And
What?
he was arrested, and hence the Justice of Peace was arrested and had a hefty bill. A staunch supporter of the Jamaica Labour Party, who was supported, I tell you, by Angela Brownberg in the case. Angela Brownberg provided money for she get lawyer to get out of it, because she was in a certain member of parliament office when she was instructed. And I say to Justice, take instruction from no one, do what you were trained to do, and try to keep above the law at all time. Because when you get into trouble, you must know if you have that $3 million to go pay Master Andrew.
No man, Master Delroy.
Well, technically, Andrew get it because it's the court gets it really. So technically, it goes into the coffer of the crown, right? But
Look into this, Luke. There are so many wasted land at King's House. so many wasted lands at Jamaica House, where the taxpayers of this country will pay to upkeep Jamaica House and King's House. And our people in 21st century Jamaica, in 2023, have be standing in the sun to get their
Service,
police record. Have be
service,
standing in the sun to get their
service.
birth certificate. Have be
Yes,
standing in the sun to get their passport.
yeah,
And
because
and we're talking about a 2030 vision.
but Jeffrey, somebody has to pay the consultant who is their friend to develop a document and to have consultation. Remember, there was there was a framework of how we were going to assess public sector workers and institution. I remember going to the Jamaica Conference Center and we made the recommendation. Outside of that, everybody who engage a government agency, you have a immediately you have a questionnaire at the end of the experience. The amount of time that you spend, how you felt about how you were, and that was something coming out of Jamaica House that was supposed to be implemented island wide. I can go back and look for the document in email and tell you what it is and send you the layout of it. But what came out of that? Nothing. So Jeffrey, a source attack go on, and this is why I must say, what would it take to reform the function of our social and government sectors so that they are more that deliverables are far higher on the index than what they are now. And that is something that I'm sure somebody into you, that's part of their function, reorganizing organization for it to function. And this is why I said that we need to come up with strong recommendation instead of just coming on these talk show. Jeffrey, I've said it to you already, have a breakout group. You see this brother here when named Douglas and Sonia and Andrea and them people there, me no mind the man will come the other day and talk about me boring, cause look here, me no live in your yard and me no want to be your friend. Me no want to talk like, oh, anybody want me to talk. I'm authentic Jamaican who have experience every day. I don't care what you want to say. I was here when Jeffrey Tavares says it's time for my time has come and expired. I will continue to support and try to have meaningful discussion with
Lou,
Jeffrey.
Lou, are you hearing me? I'm hearing you.
Yeah.
Lou,
Yeah, I hear you breaking up.
I don't know what's going on. It seems like Delroy truck.
Jeffrey, I wonder if them a tamper with the internet.
I don't, but I'm hearing it clearly. It seems like Delroy truck
We must move.
and Twiddly Dum Dum don't want me to talk. I don't know what we're losing you now. We're speaking to Luke George Cook, human rights activist, of what is going on by PICA, the Passport Immigration Citizen Agency of this country of Jamaica, where 100 Cubans got fraudulent citizenship. And until now, you hear nothing from anybody in higher.
But look, today the news burst. Tomorrow we'll watch and see. Let us not knock anybody yet. We're gonna see what happened tomorrow but what I don't want is to hear that. All right, we are going to convene a committee. I don't want to hear Jeffrey tomorrow. If me hear this, please come visit me in the North House. We are going to put together a committee to investigate the allegation of PICA. And when you look, the committee is constructed of me, my friends, and I. No! Nigel said the Minister of Finance said about Usain Bolt, a young man born in adverse poverty. Run. One at the time, remember when them did say Usain might not able to run again and them send him go Germany. And imagine you miss still think sometime you see and pinch himself and say, I really have some reach. And you take them thief the bread and money. And the Minister of National Security can come to the country and say the investigation is leading in this direction. And at the end of the day, it's not just Joy and Panton who is going to have to answer to the people of Jamaica for such crime, because we have to ensure that the people have confidence that I, as the Minister of Security, will leave no stone unturned in this matter and other matter of criminal nature. I go far as to say, when you get the report in 2018 that there were fundamental discrepancy.
Thief, Mr. Guan, you chat too much big language, Luke. Thief, Mr. Guan, at SSL.
A whole heap of bangarang. I go out and SSL Jeffrey.
Till all the Prime Minister drag out for him money
and then
and says nothing to the nation about it.
And then the PM took his money and the little youth were put back Jamaica upon the map like Bob Marley. Is still today having to wonder if him going to see $1 out of the money and then not thief it when work hard for. So when you smart say, if you play by the rules, you get shafted. What do you think drives the passion?
Or was it PJ that said it?
You small.
Okay.
You small. What PJ said that will always remain in my mind is it's youthful exuberance. But my said to myself, Brethren, if them can do this to you, seeing Jeffrey, what them would do? And as a country, the Prime Minister should have this as a talking point. Andrew, why middle name?
Andrew Michael Brogard Holness.
Andrew Holness, will not rest.
Say the man name properly, Luke.
Andrew Michael Brogard Holness will not rest until a national icon like Usain Bolt, but more so, me I go ask Mr. Leaching for stop that taxation on the Jamaican people of them making deposit in their account and withdrawal. I'm standing up for all the people of Jamaica. I'm not about partial government. I am about people's development.
We have, hold on here, look, we have with us the great-great-grandson of Paul Bogle out of St. Thomas. Paul Bogle, who led a rebellion. Is he going to lead a rebellion in Jamaica now? My good friend, Sir Clark.
Good evening, Jeffrey and fellow panelists. Thanks for having me. It's been a long while.
Yes, man. You hide from us, but we're here talking about PICA and the passport office. 100 Cubans get fraudulent citizenship. And I know Usain Bolt money can't come out. The Minister of National Security, along with Santa Claus, or Santa Claus, can tell the people of Jamaica if the FBI is in Jamaica investigating SSL.
Well, Jeffrey, there has been a massive inflow of Chinese into Jamaica. And if you remember clearly, when they had interest in Goat Island, they had requested 12,000 Jamaican passports. And we know what happened with the Goat Island saga. Now they have reassigned their sites upon the parish of St. Thomas, more so an area called Grandspent, which I suspect will be utilized in a short future
A
as
ship
an
okay na
enclave,
gas in the island a gun.
as an enclave for the Chinese, which would replace the Goat Island situation. So I wouldn't be surprised if those numbers that you're talking about, fraudulent citizenship, is all Chinese or Chinese and Indians, but more so Chinese.
No,
Because
if
we
it's the
saw the writing
Cubans,
on
they
the
give it to
wall.
the Cubans.
Them too, them too. But I'm telling you, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a lot of Chinese in the mix, or it has not come out as yet, because Jamaica is too accommodative to a certain set of people who get a preferential treatment over the natural citizens of Jamaica, like massive tax breaks, or where a certain nationality can open a business and don't pay any taxes for 5 years. And a regular Jamaican trying to start a business don't get such privilege. I think that is
Hmm.
unfair for your own citizens not to benefit from offers like those.
But Mr. Clark, let us go back into the whole passport immigration issue.
Mm,
And your your police record. Luke John was giving us
mm,
an incident that happened. And also your passport, your birth certificate. Don't you think this
mm.
is a burning shame that in 21st century Jamaica, our people be standing in the sun and on the tent to get government services? Don't you think that in any other modern democracy this nonsense don't go on?
That is true, Sir Tavares. That is so true. It was just this week I passed the police records office, and the line that I saw, I'm still surprised at this time and stage in life where technology is so advanced and there's so much technology in Jamaica that we're still having long lines, and they had to make some long date appointments, a police record in recent months. I think that is tardy on the Minister of Security. I think
Do we
that
have a minister of security?
you would have to tell me now. I
Do we
hear
have a
about it.
minister of insecurity and a ministry of insecurity? Do we have one?
Supposed to, supposed to.
Oh, I don't think
But you see the thing is, Sir Tavares, you know who I blame? Us Jamaicans who sit by idly and say nothing. Me and you is just a voice a echoing in the wilderness. We will make noise and they say, boy, them bias are, them political are, them this and them that. And them
Well,
just a talk.
hello, Mr. Clark. I'm gonna bring in Luke George next. But let me tell you something. You see me? I really don't care who want to talk, And now I don't care who want to associate my name with any political party. Them not put on my 10 pound of chicken back on fire. And I'm not begging any politician anything. What I am saying, the time has come for us in this country to call a spade and stand up what is going on. Luke George.
All right, so I hear you said the time has come for us to stand up in this country. And again, Jeffrey, you have to realize something. And this is where I'm gonna give you credit. In recent time, I hear people say, thanks to you, Lonesome, Ratigan, and Andre for the education that they or the re-education or the introduction to education that you have provided through this opportunity. Because the truth of the matter is that you have introduced again an international perspective to it. And as I said, to the credit of your participants, audience, if you read some of the things that the people who come to this freedom, um, and others, I don't usually read many of them. It's just sometimes I'll glance at it. You realize that Jamaicans everywhere have a vested interest in the development of their country. And if they are able to make these comments and they are given the opportunity to actually put the comments in a physical working policy document, I believe Jamaica would be enriched by it if you create the means by which Jamaicans can participate. Because obviously, when you look, if I can imagine them sitting outside of Jamaica and asking, "Is this our Jamaica? And is it that the whole of we down here so done?" But the truth of the matter, too, to the credit of the Jamaican people, I don't know what Mr. Clark would have said about this. But as him said to you a while ago, it's few of us, Jeffrey, that are out there in the wilderness, because the majority of the people have been held in fear. And I understand that fear, although I do not subscribe to it, I understand it because, again, every time my family them here say me I go talk to you, who not tell me them I go in a Pentecostal prayer that God will seal my tongue to the roof of them head, cause all me I do, put I go put myself in a hot water, and I hope when you're reaching a hit and them I go kill you, them not kill me. Or I chew you're not afraid. You're not afraid when you go out there. That's why when you put out application, nobody not gonna take it because them I go see you pandemic sitting here. I remember I said them are sitting here worldwide. I understand. But the truth of the matter, I love my country. I'm hate when people tell me about the good old days, as to say that we could not be having good days now. The country that has so much promise has broken, but broken as it is, it has promise. It have promised that we can build on. Why is it that people have surrendered their power to those now who are taking disadvantage of them? You have to look at how the political structure was organized and how it imprisons the thought processes of people who are creative and would do far much better. I am an enemy of the state. I was at POJ some time ago and I was supposed to get a job, and somebody said, um, the Planning Institute. Somebody says your passion gets ahead of you, and then somebody came outside to me and said to me, "Look, them don't know how to control you because who they are going to be picking for this job don't have the expertise that you have." I've suffered. Will I continue? Yeah, because I am not going to take a dollar in pay from anybody to lie to the Jamaican people. I am not going to do it. But those, Mr. Winter, Mr. Chuck, Mr. Holness, Mr. Chang, them people didn't have no shame, Trina Jeffrey.
And the
And
Speaker of the
so,
House, Mrs.
um,
Dal
I,
Filiberty.
look here, the lady must. I used to admire that lady. Just to hear how she go around her constitute. I wasn't about the politics with her. I used to see her as such a, everybody wants an anti Dalrymple, because when you hear about her personality, it was larger than the politics. It drummed out the politics. And then to see her on national TV with a law degree, behaving as if she is Lord God Almighty, and then she is so egregious in the things that she says. Your officer, Lord, my rather be dunce this look better than that. Because at least with my dunceness, me can find humor. But when intelligent people talk fart, you have to ask yourself, what did the guy school for? And she behave, the behavior again is like the parliament is our backyard and she can't get up. Every minute in the now, you know, say, I teach for tata and butter for fish.
Mm-hmm.
And this is what the national disgraceful leaders engage themselves in. Instead of having a side meeting with the parliamentarian staff to say, okay, we need you to stop this because it don't look good.
I heard one of them calling Julian Robinson dunce in Parliament a couple of days ago. I think it was Tuesday. Yesterday. Calling Julian Robinson dunce. And the Speaker of the House keep on telling the people of Jamaica that the Parliament of Jamaica is the highest court of the land. Utter nonsense. The highest court of Jamaica is the Supreme Court. So none of these people following up.
But that again is Jeffrey. But when me agree with Brother Clark with, I would love to see a Jeffrey Tavares program taken to the 3 counties of Jamaica, and we go into the trenches and we have what is called a public discourse for action, where we ask people how you feel, how your country. I am not afraid to go into the Valley Garden because, brethren, me no want no body label me about PMP or JLP. So when some people hear me talk about Mark Golding, me talk from where me see and what other people say. Mark Golding is not my personal friend, but the times I have spoken to him, I find him to be somebody that is approachable. The times I have spoken to Mr. Holness when he was the executive director of Child Welfare, he will kill you with humor and he will kill you with talk. But when it comes to deliverable, him not dead there, and he doesn't share his power lightly with other people. But overall, when he became prime minister of this country, I hope that my generation, the generation of destroying Jamaica and everything that is beautiful about this country, would have found in Mr. Holness the possibility of hope, and that hope is not permeated on the back of scarce benefit and spoil, but that he would take the messaging to the ordinary Jamaican to say, well, don't ask what you can do for your country. Don't ask the country what them can do for you, but what rather you can do for your country. And you ignite a fire in various subgroup of the country. That has not happened. And again, in 2023, Jeffrey Tavares, we're having a discussion about a man that is possibly getting close to $6 million per year, in addition to the perks and benefit, not having the capability of running the passport office, which is essential to how people they use it for ID, them use it for travel, them use it for security of loan, not being able to do so effectively and efficient. But isn't that the reflection of the political system overall, which tells you that it's a problem that is at the top that we need to fix, but at the bottom of it, don't go out and sell your vote, brother, for $5,000. And if you are going to have to exchange and sell Jamaica for a pot of porridge, make sure say it at the end of it, you don't have to eat one night. Make sure you can't even get 10 eat out tight. Ask them for 100,000 each. Because I can tell you, people have entered the doors of politics without knowing where the next shirt was coming from, and have left this country far richer and leave the people of Jamaica still at die feast table, scrambling for the crumbs.
I'm gonna let my good friend come back in here. But something, I have to say this. A lot of Jamaicans have been assassinated on their own soil. A lot of us. our black brothers and sisters has been assassinated. The Reverend gentleman from St. Elizabeth, Mr. Moore, was assassinated all because he got a promotion of the correctional services and then kill him. Donald Lee Donaldson, dead and gone. And I know the family of Donald Lee Donaldson can't get any justice for her death. And I can name on and on of so many young people and older people in this country. But if you're not from the effluence of society, you don't hear the outcry from the political elites. Sir Clark, are we gonna sit down in this country? Come next year, if God spare our sinful life, and allow the powers may be to continue dragging down Jamaica, down Spurtree Hill where there's no ditch, there's a ditch and there's a bottom of spit? Is that what we're gonna continue to do? Marcel Clark? Luke George, I think Marcel is not there. Luke.
His mic is muted, so I'm wondering if he needs to be unmuted.
He has to unmute his mic himself.
Jeffrey,
Yes,
for some reason I'm not hearing you.
but I'm hearing you loud and clear.
I'm going to sign out and sign back in.
Okay, Luke, you're hearing me though?
All right, so Jeffrey, listen to this. You talk about all the people that we have lost, including the little baby that her throat was slashed. But just as I'm speaking to you, I'm reading the messages that are coming in on the phone. Good night, sir. I'm a new parent and I really don't like what is going on at the school because I was at the meeting the other day and I said I cannot pay 15,000 for my son's school fee. And I also text the principal too to let her know. So here's a
What
basic.
school is it?
I'm because I'm in discussion with the school
Okay,
right
go ahead.
now. I don't want to mention, but here's a basic school that in 2022 they moved the fees from they they, they moved the fees from 8,005 to 12,000 a term, and that means that those parents will have to pay 3 terms. And there are parents who are at the school who have more than one children. There was a mother with twins. And this is a basic school.
And it's
And
$15,000 a term.
a term.
Mm.
And I can show you a plethora of message coming in from parents appealing for a rollback. Because in addition to the school fees that they have to pay a fee of $2,000 every week as contribution to lunch. These children has to be taken out on extracurriculum activity. The parents have to pay
So
for
hold on there, Luke. If it's two child, it's $30,000.
right.
All right. So 30,000 plus another 2,000.
Right.
That's 32,000.
Right. If you talk about excursion can always run you from anywhere from $5,000, depending on where they're going to learn what outside. If you talk about the extracurriculum, it's 3,000 for swimming, and they go 3 days out of the week. If they go to dancing, it is also 3,000, and they go at least 3 times of the week. So children are deprived of this, and at the early childhood level, if you ask me the fundamental problem that is facing us as a country, the early childhood level where we must set the foundation for opportunity to solidify the children's learning, they are paying that amount of money. And yes, we can always argue why people have money, why people have picnic, where them can't pay for. God know them they are already. Um, so what are we going to do? The challenge is real. And another lady inboxed me last night and said, "Sir, what does this mean that my child don't get to go to this school?" Because then she and I were going through other schools, seemingly it is the school fee that is going up by the management committee, even when there are a lot of things to be desired about the space and the offering of the institution. Did the did the administration of the Andrew Holness Ministry restructure the Early Childhood Commission? Do do you want to be working at that level, Jeffrey, with just a certificate that you can get a Art NTA certificate at a level 3, which basically teaches you how to be a caregiver, but don't necessarily equip you with the skills as to how to be delivered. And then you are going to ask me, Luke George, why people continue to vote on black? Because people just breed for bring up children that them can't afford really, and them believing in them politician. You know, many people have said to me, if do you know where we can go to get some assistance with our children back to school? And the basic school book list, I should tell you, Jeffrey, I've seen one basic school book list, and when I asked the mother to tally it, it's over 15,000. A primary school book list can be anywhere over 30,000. A high school book list can be anywhere over $50,000. And for university, don't go there. So
Hold on there. I know, look, I remember, I'm calling your name, but I remember when I was assisting some people with their children going back to school. And when the book list came around, and we look on the book list, and we went to a particular bookstore. You know who owned the bookstore?
a politician.
And one of the teachers.
Mm, but that's good. You know who on taxi pan road? Police.
Oh yeah.
And if you put one out, then make sure say them stifle you outside. You know who
Hmm.
sell gun to bad man?
Yes.
You know who distribute gun to bad people?
Mm-hmm.
What we
The
have
vum vavon, the vum vavin.
what we have accepted is what we have inherited. And the few of us cannot allow them to drum out our voice, because we have to be like the voice in the wilderness calling for the change.
Indeed.
The thing is, where is that group of Jamaicans that will say, "Here am I want to serve," and will do so by putting country above party and self? I
As
don't
what?
want no I don't want no martyr. I don't want it to feel like it's martyrdom. I want you forget peer. I want you forget good peer. But show me quality performance that I can say. You see, Tavares as Minister of Information never lies to the Jamaican people.
Not like the one we have there, the Minister of Misinformation.
And it's a national disgrace that a young youth like Nesta continues to show how corrupt we are in our pursuit for personal development, that we will sell our mama just to ensure that we make it, right? When you look at Alan Nesta coming out and the things that he says and who him come out come challenge, I them people don't know me right them yard, me convinced, because if them ever wake up one day and go look in there, them nose that are longer than Pinocchio,
And
and
big
they
like
would
anyway,
just
and the nose them big like anyway, Jeffrey.
I, I don't I'm not taking on the man's feature, Jeffrey. As again I say,
I didn't
I,
call in the name.
yeah, but whoever and whatever it is, I want to just think that we can do better. We are better than this, Jamaica. We are better than this. And for every corner where we cut, I am not perfect, Jeffrey.
None
Don't be
of us is
here.
perfect.
I am not here saying that I'm perfect, but brother, Me not think some could have do some of the things them when me see them people they do. Not in the best interest of the country. Just think about it. Think about Jamaica without crime and corruption. And
Let
look
me say
on
something to you,
where
Lou.
again.
Let me say something to you, Lou. I remember I was having a discussion with the late Russell Hammond, my mentor. He's the first person who put me on a political platform to give a speech. May his soul rest in peace. I remember when I came back from overseas and I went and looked for him. And I said to him, I'm thinking about entering politics. He said to me, Jeffrey, I soon talk to you. But where you going and come back? And I went back to him the next day. And we sit down and we had a discussion. And what Russell told me, do not tarnish your name. Do not go in there and tarnish your name. You may go in there for the greater good of our people, but that's not what it's all about anymore. It's totally different. Sir Clark, we're going to come off here now. But I want to say this before I come off here. To the principal of the Statius Golden High School, be careful what you're doing. The principal of the Statius Golden High School, who a gentleman alleged to sexually assault a teacher, a female teacher. It's all over in the newspaper. And the principal refused to do anything because what? She soon retire. So she wants to retire with her name in glory. While a female teacher is suffering.
Not just one, Jeffrey. This is the one that spoke out. It is alleged that he has sexually assaulted other people at the institution.
Okay. See, it's not me alone who know about it.
And it worries me because I hope this doesn't extend to students that have had to go in the quiet. It worries me.
I heard that students is involved in it and the principal covering it up.
And as I get old, I don't get flustered because once upon a time I was cynical. But sometimes when people come to you and them say, you hear this and you say, what is that? And them telling you, and they're telling you like them know the gospel according to John. And because seemingly
It's 10 o'clock.
Seemingly, Jeffrey, there's a lot of people who knew about this. And I would just like to say that I'm a little bit surprised at the court order. I'm a little bit surprised at the police because when there is a report of a sexual offense, usually the perpetrator and the victims are told never to be in the same place. So the principal is complicit and she's a mandatory reporter and should have been reporting that she can't have both in the school. And it must be terrifying
But
to the person.
the principal, Luke George, the principal asked the female teacher if she sure she wants to report to the station.
Well,
so the principal is involved in some corruption and some cover-up.
Well, again,
Jeffrey? Jeffrey,
Yes.
let me say this to you. I hear both of you lamenting about this school. But let me wake up your eyes or open your eyes. It's almost every school having the same problem, and it's the same approach a lot of the principal take. They cover up and they sweep under the carpet and they try to squish down. There's several reports I know of other schools in my area of the same sort of situation, and it's the same way. One man was accused in a particular way, which it was to tarnish his name, you know, and everybody knew that the gentleman is not that type of person, or Never had that kind of report, but because the principal don't like him, the thing was advanced and escalated in a particular way, and the man was removed from duty. And it goes either way, where there's some actual cases of sexual assault or rape or molestation of a child or whatever. And it's pushed down. One school went on a field trip to stay overnight at a hotel, and there's one big archie one student pregnant now. And the excuse that the management of the school is saying is that them are adult because them are 18.
I beg
Most
your
of them,
pardon?
I tell you, and it's cushion on the carpet.
No.
In fact, it
Sir
even
Clark,
reached the board.
Sir Clark and Lou, I tell you something. The Minister of Education, the good lady there, I wonder if sometimes that lady really listen to anybody. The Minister of Education was WhatsApp, somebody WhatsApp her of what is going on at Golden High School, Stacia's Golden High School. And the woman does nothing about it. Now the teacher, the female that was sexually assaulted, she not lying. I can put my head on a black for her. She's a decent woman. She's married and she have one man as her husband. But let me warn that principal of that school tonight. You see, if you do not come out and call in the police of how many children were sexually assaulted at school, I will do it. I will do it.
Jeffrey?
Well, I don't think you need to wait on her, Jeffrey. The thing is that we need to find who is the superintendent in the area. But you see, this again too. If the minister herself was told of the incident and have not called the board and the principal to a meeting to discuss it and for the possible outcome of the person to do not dismiss him, to be put on suspended leave pending the outcome of the investigation and the outcome of the trial, then it is regrettable because it shows again that you are ineffective as the minister. Because how do somebody really brings the best of their service to their job if they have this weight of at a place where they're supposed to be safe, and the parents of the institution should be apprised of what is happening there, and they should ask for the removal of the gentleman from the premises until the matter is substantiated in a court of law and a decision is taken based on the allegation. But look, it almost in every corner you go know people say I saw that man they stay a long time, even in other
Yes.
institutions. People just say, and this a woman like with us as Jamaican. There was a man over by Trenchtown School by a teacher over there whose name is start with P. Now I gotta call out the man name because I have to remember justice. But me know say him used to fool around student, and every time me go stand up at the gate, me just say to the teacher them, "The whole I wanna help him have sex with the pit to them till him leave." Cause him go to all people and go say them for put me to sleep because me I fast with him and me I get in him personal life. But they saw my reasoning because I asked each of the people that he went to, if it was your daughter, would you have been happy with it? And then he left the Trenchtown High School and became a member of staff of the Trenchtown Polytechnic. But I hear he's no longer there because I keep abreast of it. But that is what is wrong with this country, the way we turn a blind eye to the suffering of other because we tend to believe that we don't want to get involved. And so even for that lady, Jeffrey, it's not just for us to call the police station to say, are you aware of it? If we could get the court, if we could get her, the teacher, to give us the court document and for us to say, okay, a sexual offense has taken place. I know that you, the police, are not supposed to be trying it. It is with the court. But can you enforce that? You really should have victims and perpetrator in the same space. He must be removed from the school. There
But not
must be
only
some.
that, Luke and Mr. Clark. The teacher went to school, and when the teacher saw the I can behave myself, the other teacher, she started shaking till she dropped down. The principal saw her fainted.
Douglas just said something in the chat, say him know of a school where a principal has been sleeping with students, Lord Jesus, and only grant VP promotion based on the teacher give him. That's it. Why, I tell you. Can't continue. But
And we
you
have
see,
a minister
more
of
we need
education
we need
presiding
more.
over.
No, but Fayevel, again, Fayevel as the minister must be guided by the legal department of the ministry. An allegation has come, and let us say that if Fayevel know, she must disseminate the information within the structure of the ministry to include the legal department to seek guidance on what should guide this process, because you can't have the victim and a woman that has been sexually assaulted, or anybody for that matter. Do you know what the individual go through every time they see, hey, look here, brethren, you see why, Jeffrey, you see why crime will never go away in this country? Because if this woman did have a brethren or a brother or a cousin, and go there now go mash him up, and
You hear that kind of same thing.
I'm hoping that nobody hear me say that's where I need to go, because again, hear me say this: a man is innocent until proven guilty. It's her side of the story. But what I have heard from people in the street is that they know that this brother is a sexual predator, and therefore, if people have that perception of this your brother, yeah, then as them say, if it not go so, it go near so. I me agree with that, because obviously it's something that people know far and wide beyond the school community.
Down to the very taxi drivers
Jeez.
that run from Old Harbour to where Statius Golden High School is, talking about it. That man, that teacher there, has been doing this for years. And the same principal of that school, along with the VP, does nothing about it. Let me want to know.
And then for Clark for come say, una having sexual orgies till as a result. Yeah, you're 18, but you should be. The baby shouldn't have been. A baby should be the result to show that sexual activities have been taken in the institution. And again, me tell you, say, Jeffrey, to me, the lower we go, we are happy with it. Standards right now, that is why people all over the country ask that nuns and priests take over back Catholic school, because there is no discipline. The lower we go, and it is even worse, because at every sector of the country, at them sort of behavior you are run, where you have to have exchange of goods and service. If people must rise up in for what? A man get a job if do him job, and if him do a credible job him for do it. A brother should stay in a school around people and people picnic. If him have the sickness, brother him for leave. And the woman supposed to feel better, because here what is the other thing to where me fear for that woman there? If this nasty nigger is guilty of that kind of crime, him very well could be guilty of having somebody put a hit on her. Because him know him days them numbered. So even in us promoting it like this, part of our responsibility is must build up a security around her, that she will have her day in court and he will be brought to justice. And that's why I'm sorry say we not have good community policing, because a good community policeman would have known a female responsible for our sister she reach home safe. And if she take public transportation, we have to find a way for support her for make sure so we have designated taxis that she can take, at least have a meal there. And possibly if me could I get a bridging where I have a license for a Mura drive a taxi. Because the truth of the matter, the country is infested with these sickos. Infested with them, man. If you ever hear police women who are recruited in the police and the JDF, tell you where them have forgot you, Jeffrey. As a man, your belly button move, brother. Them worse than the clansman, them when them oppress the woman, them for give up front,
Look, I want us to have a program tomorrow on the same issue of the high school and how policemen pressure police women to give up you nowhere.
But it's not just them politicians.
And politicians.
Politicians, pastors. I know, sad to say in Jamaica, men are having to give up too. Not to women.
My God.
Men have to give it up too. Brother.
Lord Jesus.
Brother, it's not a pretty picture out here. Here, if we talk to some people and we hear them story, it's not easy out there.
Yes, Sir Clark, yes.
Something was brought to my attention. I really don't really want to go into it much, so don't ask for much detail. But I'm just gonna give you a snippet what I heard. Yes, I look at nasty nigga up at JDF too.
Up where?
And JDF.
Yes, the Jamaica Defense Force.
Yeah, somebody been trying to get into the army, and this particular person is going around saying that he can get them in and make them pass medical and all kind of something. But him only target female. And them have to sleep with him. And right now, the person had a child, and the child don't come out look like the supposedly father, but look more like the same JDF person. But yet them use protection. So yard out to mash up, Yard out to mash up. And the person never do nothing for the person getting out of the army, And this is a story that goes over to the JCF. If any woman may deal with come to me and say she join JCF, I don't know. Because to pass every era of training the JCF as a female, you have to sleep with every man when in charge of it. To pass.
And I must only
such man with Ghana. I must say only such man where I must say chairman for transport authority, only fiend that I never sleep for reach. And one next one. You hear me say? As far as what I understand, every female, or majority of them, let me put it that way, it is alleged of a sleep with all of the instructors for them to pass. Me know somebody will go down there about 2-3 years ago, and them have to sleep down here right through. More than one, me know.
My
and then tell you. And it's sad. It's sad enough, Jeffrey.
It is.
And look, that a person maybe passing through the system and is not competent or qualified in certain areas, but because them have the whining skill or get a slam, them make the mark. That's how dangerous this thing is, And you wonder why some females in the force come out there and behave a certain way upon the road.
Mr. Clark, I don't want you ghettoize the slamming. I just want you to say that the sexual exploitation that started in slavery holds. Because the truth of the matter is that, unfortunately, we still have a patriarchal mentality and we treat women differently. And you have some women with some big testosterone, because there are women who will organize with men in powerful position to exact revenge on other women in organization. It is not the slave or selling slave to the slave master did not rid or wash our hands of the blood that black people were very much a part of the slave trade. But what is important is that today somebody at PICA said enough is enough. Could that now be when you throw a stone in the water, when them say it ricochet or it, when them say
When I
Jeffrey,
throw a stone in a pig pen, the pig squeal out.
no, me I talk about
It
the
brings a
effect.
ripple effect, a ripple.
Can we have a ripple effect of people from every aspect of Jamaica, including the famous JDF, where um a certain senior officer at JDF likes to touch female nipple and tell her that's not stiff enough, right?
I beg your
Um,
pardon.
you hear, as I said, look, look, Jeffrey, I tell you something, I live at Jamaica, you know. I beg God every day not to make me go depressed or really frustrated or so burnt out that I lose my effectiveness in trying to bring. But having people having people bringing their matters before a magistrate requires money. And not only that, you have to look at the safety and the security and their social and emotional well-being. And somebody said earlier on, set up a program or set up a business loop to make money. Truth of the matter is that my life has been about social service, and I don't think I would be a good businessman because I feel empathy for people a lot of times, and I sometimes tend to go out of the way to do things that I'm not even financially not financially to support, but I tend to put me behind and other people's aspiration ahead. But the truth of the matter, Jeffrey, people are suffering. The Jamaican people are suffering, and this show and other shows of this nature is sort of igniting a fire in them to have a voice to speak. And this is why I said to you, Tavares, our paths cross and it seems to have meshed. But you have really spoken to the core issues of what is causing the powerless amongst the Jamaican people. And for that reason, that is why we need to build an entity that is going to support people when they have the desire to come out and stand up, that they know they're not alone. They know they're not alone. But the truth of the matter, I have to go. I have an elderly lady here. I have to go take her home because she has been here with me for a little while. We were sorting out her medical issues. And but look, I am not in deep despair about this. There's a righteous wind, Jeffrey Tavares, that is blowing to our backs. There's a righteous wind. The day is going to come, Tavares. I don't know if they will permit us to live long enough. They killed Bob Marley and others. This is a country that has demonstrated that they will get rid of you if you're in way of them fulfilling their agenda. But as my granny always says, answer go come tell we our grave. The day is going to come when I hope, Tavares, that we ignite enough fire in people that we will see people saying, look here, if you don't ever pay me, I'm willing to serve this country because I'm here to fix it. Because I know that the country has the ability to do far better than it's doing now under these Alibaba and the 40 Thieves. I I'm waiting to be a part of a movement of like-minded people like the freedom movement. I don't mind having an experience like Elijah coming for Bloody Friday if it means that it will deliver a freedom to the Jamaican people that they have never seen before. But I will rather die on yonder gallows than remain a slave under Andrew Holness administration and the powers of evil that governs this country,
Mm.
even under a Mark Jeff Golden administration. I will never be silent. I will never back down on how I feel. I have a love and appreciation for a country that, again, it is broken but promising. And the time is now, and I'm glad that I've joined you as the voice in the wilderness, making the righteous way known that we not have to live so. When we swap black dog for monkey, but we are going to take back this country.
Thank you very much, Luke George Cook.
Freedom. If I have an NGO, I have one called Operation Hope that can donate to. But the truth of the matter, how I treat with donation freedom, I directly put you in touch with the client who needs your help, and I oversee whatever the cost of what that client needs. I don't have the means of hiring an accountant, and I like to do things above the book freedom, but I have a lot of people who come to me for help. I have a list of things that people have asked me for help. So sometimes I tell them, say, you have to just give me a little time. I know with back to school, a lot of requests are coming in. I know there's an urgent need to fix 3 places for 3 senior citizens. I want to equip schools with equipment for the upcoming school year. But if you have any further question, Freedom, how you can donate, again, I give you my number. It's 1876 842 4725. So I give you, the contributor, the control to spend your own money, and I just deliver the goods and do what has to be done in the physical. And that's what I ask for contribution for. I don't have any accountant. I can't pay an accountant. And if I'm going to take people money through my organization, I want it to go through the books. The donor must know that what you're giving me money for reach the person that it's going to. So I will directly put you in touch with who you're going to be sponsoring. You can question that person about my integrity, um, and what they came to me for. And I will have your receipts to prove that whatever you donate to is done. That's how I do it.
Luke, thank you very
Yep.
much for coming in, man.
Andrea, thank you for appreciating me, and Jeffrey. Now, very many people say, "Oh, Andrea, you make me feel special."
And I'm
So
pretty
that's
much sure you can. I'm pretty much sure you
84.
can join me back tomorrow evening, same time.
You know what, Jeffrey? You're making me make a career out of this. Me
You
love
don't
you,
worry yourself.
me love you, Jeffrey. But you see, when we spend that 2 hours here with you now, we have to stay up until 5 o'clock. Forget to have all the recommendation,
we, we, we,
read
we,
all
we,
the
we
email,
won't spend
respond.
2 hours. We won't spend 2 hours tomorrow. We spend an hour tomorrow. We're gonna spend an hour tomorrow.
Yeah, man, freedom. Freedom, you can donate to. I have a blind lady. I have some elderly people who need some help. I have students. 1876 842 4725. And I will tell you who I have. I'll send you a profile of the person that we are and what it is that the person have requested. And whatever you donate to, I'll tell you the means of how that donation can come. And we will take care of the matter. So if you or anybody else want to talk to me about helping somebody, please free to call. My email is lggcooke@gmail.com. So it's lowercase l 2g's cooke at gmail.com. Thank you, Jeffrey Tavares, for having me. Always a pleasure to see you, my brother.
Same to you, my friend.
My brother from another mother.
Luke, thank you very much.
Yes, man.
May God bless and keep you, my friend.
I hope that we will. I'm looking forward to see the response tomorrow. So when we
Indeed.
speak tomorrow evening, let me see if we are saying, "Come, Mr. Winter, answer these questions." I don't want you to just leave. I want to see if the fraud squad is brought in to investigate the story of us selling passport to Cubans, and some have said to
Chinese nationals.
Chinese, but we are also selling to people from Jerusalem here, and the figures are
Israel.
quite and the figures are quite dicey when you hear these transactions. Quite dicey. So I wish them would have give me some, because I have a whole heap of things where I want to do before I leave the planet.
Luke, have
The
a good
wealth
night,
of
my
the
friend.
wicked is stored up for the righteous, Jeffrey.
Indeed.
All
All
right.
the best, my friend. Talk to you tomorrow. General people, this is where we say so long from here. Join us tomorrow for another good discussion. But I say to you all, no matter what we are going through in Jamaica, remember that we must put our God first, because he cares for us. As I leave with my favorite words, for all those cares has been our concern. The work goes on, the cause endure, the hope still lives, and the dream for a better Jamaica shall never die. Let's continue to fight for this rock. Let's continue to fight for the poor class of Jamaicans and lift our head high. May God bless you, and may God bless Jamaica land we love. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to the Make We Talk Jeffrey Tavares YouTube channel. Have a good night, my friends and family.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.